out those notes for me and let's fill in those blanks together. Okay, so when I am talking about main ideas and supporting details in nonfiction, the main idea is the most important point the author is making about a topic. If you're having to identify it, if it's asking you, what is this about? It is not always going to be directly stated. You just need to find out, what is this mostly about? What does the author want me to understand? What am I supposed to take away from this? So in the case of your journal, what is it mostly about? Features of a vacuum or features of a planter. What do they want you to understand is that you should buy that vacuum, that you should buy that planter.
Is it the same with the purpose of the author writing, the purpose of the article?
Yes, in fact, I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm glad you're already seeing how it all overlaps, because all of these things work together. So I'm trying to make it in a flow that I think works best for showing how they work together. So main idea is, and you can shorten these to your own words if you want. This is just me putting them up there. The main idea is the central message of a paragraph or passage. The reason I put both of those is because, and I say this a little bit later on, they might give you a 3-page passage to read, but one of the questions might just be asking for the main idea of that paragraph. And for the most part, it's going to be supported by several details. So that's going up to this question of, what is this mostly about? That requires you to look at the details and figure out, well, all of these are about flowers. All of these are about cleaning supplies. So this has something to do with flowers or cleaning supplies. Sometimes the main idea is going to be stated directly. Often, and actually I'll put a little tip in here, this goes back to the active reading process, that this will often be in the title of whatever the passage is. It will say something like how to bake a cake, and the main idea is how to bake a cake. So make sure that you are paying attention to things like that. So sometimes it's stated directly, oftentimes it's implied. You have to figure out what's going on. Zoomed in too much. On the SOL test, you will often be asked to find the main idea of a specific section instead of the overall passage. So make sure you're reading the questions carefully. A lot of the questions on the test come down to one word and the way that the question is worded. And it looks like they're about to come in here. They keep looking in.
Wait, what? Oh.
I am going to post this video for whatever it's worth. And it gets posted on YouTube, so you can put it on double speed if you want.
You say YouTube?
Yeah. Okay, for supporting details. So these are the facts, examples, or explanations that help prove or explain the main idea. So once you have identified the main idea, ask yourself, how does the author prove this? How does the author show this? How does the author explain this? It's a way of double checking yourself. If I think that the main idea is you should buy a vacuum, is everything in that paragraph explaining how to buy it or why you should buy a vacuum? So the purpose of those supporting details is that they give evidence, they provide examples, or they add explanations or descriptions. Do I need to go back some?
Like the last sentences.
Well, that one's already on there. On the SOL test, that one's already on there.
Oh, it's on there?
Yeah.
Oh, sleeper. Go ahead. I'm trying to do two things at one time.
And it's going to depend on what the passage is, because we're going to briefly talk about main ideas again when we get to reading stories and plays and poems and stuff. But when it comes to nonfiction, it tends to be giving evidence, giving explanations, giving descriptions, providing examples. Those are going to be your supporting details. Some of them are going to be really specific, some of them are going to be kind of broad, but they are all there to support the main idea. Excuse me. Okay. So, some of the ways you might see this showing up on the actual test. Zoom out a little bit. You may see questions like, which sentence best states the main idea? The stuff that has a whole bunch of text, that's already on the page. It's just the italics part that you'd be writing in. So, you will often see questions that say something like, which sentence best states the main idea of this passage? It is not typically going to be a clear, obvious topic sentence or thesis statement. If I was doing the advertisement, or if you look at any advertisement, they don't say at the beginning of it, you should buy this product. They just tell you the information about the product, and it is implied that you should buy it. So you would then need to find which of the sentences comes closest to that. So there might be a sentence in there that says, come check out our sales today. And that means come in our store and buy that product. Or it will say something like, what is the passage mostly about? And that's just another way of saying, what is the main idea based on the supporting details? So if that's the case, look for repeated topics. Do they talk about vacuums 10 times? It's probably about vacuums. If vacuums only covers 2 sentences out of a 6-sentence paragraph, it's not about vacuums. It's about something else. to scroll back. Let's see, I can do that. That gives me more room. You may also see which detail best supports the main idea. If they ask that, they're asking for the major supporting details. So if it was doing an ad about the planter, well, you told me 10 different things, qualities of that planter. So if the main idea is you should buy this planter, you don't want to just pick one detail that is equal to all the other details. You want to pick which detail most supports that. So for that one, I would say it was probably the new customers get 20% off or whatever, because that is specifically talking about being a customer and buying the product. So while they all contributed to that overall thing, they were all telling me I should buy that planner. That's the one that is saying specifically, I am going to take your money for this product. It might ask which sentence is not relevant to the main idea. If this is the case, it's asking you for a sentence that could have been cut or for a minor detail that isn't really relevant.
Can you go up just a little bit? There was something last I was supposed to look at, and I accidentally wrote a whole sentence that you put on the next page.
Oh, yes. The longer ones are not part of the notes y'all need to write down. The only thing y'all need to be writing down.
I wrote the whole thing down.
Yeah, just the bullet points.
Just-
is what you need to
yeah.
write.
Just the italics part.
Oh. What?
Yeah, the rest
The rest is
already in the.
already on there.
You see the little bullet points, the little black dots,
Yeah.
right up
Just
beside
write
it,
that
what
one.
you got to write.
Just that sentence.
Well, where's the rest of it?
It's
On the paper.
See, that, I didn't know that either. So I looked over. I was like, oh, man. Well,
Yeah.
let me just finish writing.
Double write is fine. Repetitions. I'm trying to make my life easy. I'm not doing all that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask you guys to write a whole book.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh.
And then the last one, this goes exactly to what you were saying, Aria. What is the implied main idea? And this is often paired with the author's purpose. It might be something like, you should buy this product to reflect a persuasive advertisement. So often, if it says, what is the implied main idea? You might want to circle, highlight whatever the word purpose, because it is often asking that. Is the main idea to get you to believe something? Is it to teach you about something? Is it to entertain you about something? It is probably something to do with whatever the purpose is. Questions on any of that so far? Trying to just give you a broad overview of what it would look like on the test. We spend a whole chunk of class the last week or so just me translating and giving you all of these sort of life hacks for taking a test, because I managed to pass all my math SOLs and I can barely count on my fingers. So it's just a matter of knowing the system and knowing how to figure out what they're asking you and how to guess the right answer, even if you don't know it. So that's what I'm saying here is like, if you come with this question and you're like, I don't know, I can't figure out what it's talking about. I don't even know what half of these words mean. Take a step back and ask yourself, okay, is this inform, persuade, or entertain? And if you can say, okay, I know it's trying to argue with me, so I know it is something to do with an argument. Which of these options, A, B, C, or D, is giving me an argument? And that's going to be your guess. Whether you know what it means or not, you can tell that it's an argument. You know that it's the author's purpose is to persuade. That's your answer. Okay, so finding the main idea step by step. Step 1, identify the topic. What is this passage about in general? So if we were doing the one in class, it was vacuums and planters. Let me try wording it this way. You have no idea what the answer is. If it asks you, what is the main idea of this passage? And you're like, I have no idea. Walk through these steps. So step 1, identify the topic. Just what in general is it talking about? Dogs, cats, vacuums, school, teenagers, just what is the general topic of it? So I already have step 1 on your paper. So you're writing this bullet point that's underneath step 1. Once you figured that out, ask yourself, okay, what are they saying about it? Are they giving me details about it? Are they telling me a story about it? Are they trying to argue with me about it? What are they saying about this topic? So, what is the author saying? Then look for words or ideas that are in there a lot. If it talks about, let's see, if my topic was trying to teach you about the Revolutionary War, and you see me listing a whole bunch of battles, and you see the word battle over and over again. There's this battle and that battle and that battle and that battle. You can probably make a guess that it's about the battles of the Revolutionary War. And then going back to what I did with the active reading process, try looking at the beginning and the end. Because most writers, especially in nonfiction, I need to remind you of that. This is nonfiction. I'm not talking about stories. This is nonfiction. Typically, the beginning and the end are going to have some statement covering the whole thing. Because the first part is going to be introducing it, and the second part, or the last part, is going to be wrapping it up. Yeah. I'm trying to fit them all on there. There we go. And then, and it is very important that you do these in order. Now, look at the other answers and do what's called process of elimination. So now that you have come up with your own guess by looking at the words that are repeated, by looking at the beginning, looking at the end, now go through and see which of these is too specific. If it's just giving one detail that doesn't cover the whole paragraph, it's not that answer. Look for one that is too broad, that just says something like vacuums exist. That's not going to be your right answer because it's not telling you what the actual purpose was. And then there'll always be one that has like nothing to do with what it was even talking about. It'd be the vacuum ad, and then it would be like people like butterflies. There's typically one answer that's fairly obviously not the right answer. And then your last little bit of writing. Is everybody up to 5? Okay. So when it comes time to find the supporting details, because you will not only be asked to find the main idea, you will be asked to find the supporting details. Ask yourself, does this detail explain the main idea? Is it giving evidence? Is it giving an example? And would the main idea still make sense without it? Everybody up to finding supporting details? That's the last of the writing it in. So when you ask, would the main idea still make sense without it? If yes, it's a supporting detail. If no, it's not going to be correct.
Can you come down a little bit? Or. That's good.
Okay, and then the rest is already printed on there, but it's just some strategy tips. Often when it comes to the answer choices, they'll do a single specific detail that will be in there. Like it's not wrong that that's how much it costs, or it's not wrong that that's the color that it comes in, but that doesn't cover the whole thing. Always make sure that it is, the main idea is covering all the details. If it's asking for an implied main idea, just piece together all of those supporting details in your head. And then that final tip, where you will most often see these kind of questions, are with the paired passages, where they will give you 2 things to read and say, how does this one address the issue where this one does this? Nonfiction texts, which is what we're talking about, and those inference questions. So the example passage, excuse me, the example passage on the back. Many schools are adding gardening programs. Students learn how to grow vegetables, which teaches responsibility and healthy eating habits. These programs also give students hands-on science experience. So your main idea there, even though there is not a specific topic sentence, is that gardening programs in schools provide valuable learning experiences. They would have given you, I promise on the SOL, they would have given you the first sentence as one of your answer choices, because they know that people's instinct is to say, well, the first sentence is the topic sentence, it must be that one. But saying many schools are adding gardening programs does not cover the whole paragraph. It does not tell you what the good benefits are of that. It does not tell you how it applies to science classes. So you would then have to pick your own, which is gardening programs in schools provide valuable learning experiences. And then that's it for notes. We'll take our break, and when you come back, we'll start some of the questions on these. Probably won't get through them all. Well, maybe.
Is that another worksheet? Always.
It's like a multiple choice, like a practice worksheet. Yeah. That's my job. We got to get you prepared for those questions. Okay, so go ahead and take your break. Okay, if you're still working on it, that's okay. But for the most part, I think you guys got through it. And I want to go over the answers to it. You are going to hold on to these worksheets. But the reason that I do this with you guys, that I give you the worksheets and then go over the answers and have you keep them, is with the idea that you're going to see which ones you missed. And if you see that you missed a whole lot of questions about supporting details, then know that you need to study more of supporting details or ask questions in class. So I do go over the answers, but it is not for no reason. So number one, your first passage there is talking about urban farms. Which statement best expresses the main idea of this passage? C. Urban farming provides multiple benefits and is growing in popularity. Number two, which detail best supports that urban farming benefits the environment? B. It reduces the need to transport food long distances. So if you go back here and look at the one, these initiatives, where'd it go? There we go. These initiatives not only increase access to healthy foods, but also reduce the environmental impact associated with transporting produce over long distances. So that's the one that had to do with the environmental impact. Which sentence from the passage is least important to the main idea?
I put D. Yeah, I have D, but C maybe?
It's D. Despite challenges such as limited space and initial cost. Because as far as like an argument goes, it's giving what the other side would say, but it's not really relevant to what they, yes. Number 4. The main idea of the passage is primarily developed through what? B. A list of benefits and challenges. I want to point out here with number 4, because I told you guys how these are all going to overlap. That's a question about organization strategy. Because you see that one of them is asking, is it a compare and contrast? The other one is asking, is it a description? The other one is asking, is it a step-by-step? So that is also an organization question. When you come across any of these, if you're a little confused, see what other skills it's asking about. And then which statement is an implied main idea? B, that it has both advantages and limitations. No, my screen. Oh, the Wi-Fi went out. Well, it should still be doing the screen recording, so For those watching at home, you should still be able to see it. What am I on? Number 6. So next we have Marcus. Number 5 was B. Next we have a paragraph about Marcus joining the debate team. So what is the main idea of the passage?
I got B.
B. Marcus improved his confidence through practice and support.
He did.
Number 7. Which detail best supports the main idea?
I got D as in
I
David.
didn't answer that.
Number 7.
I say C.
C.
Yeah,
It is C.
yeah. Because he helped mentor new members as he caught on to what, you know, his responses was for him to become a public speaker.
Well, I figured
So
very
he caught on
practice
to
and
it, but then when he knew, he had to share with the teammates, so they too can be public speakers.
So it is showing that he has fully developed his skills and that he is then moving on to helping other people. Exactly.
And I just did that.
Number 8. Which detail shows a key turning point in the passage?
D.
C. His coach gave him feedback.
Oh, I ain't do it.
Because that's when he sees what he needs to improve, and that's when he turns around his practicing and gets better. The author develops the main idea mainly by A. Describing a sequence of events over time. And then number 10 is doing one of those active reading strategies. It's asking about summary. Which statement best summarizes the passage? B. With encouragement and practice, Marcus became a confident speaker. Then your last one is your paired passages. They are a fan of doing this on the SOL. They will give you multiple passages that are loosely related to each other. Number 11, what is the main idea of passage A? B, printed books may improve focus and understanding. What's the main idea of passage B? A, digital reading provides practical benefits. 13, how do authors of passage A and passage B differ? B, one highlights the benefits of print while the other highlights the benefits of digital reading. 14, which detail from passage B supports its main idea? C, that the ebooks include search and note-taking features.
What was number 11 and 12?
B and A. 11 was B, 12 is A. And then with 15, this question right here, you are guaranteed to see of what is the combined main idea of both passages. C, both print and digital reading have different advantages. Okay. B, A, B, C, C, yeah. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to pick back up on this and talk about implied main ideas a little more, and then we'll move on to other stuff. You guys are good to go, and I will see you tomorrow.